The Detroit sky burns red as the sun dips low, casting long shadows over a city that seemed too much but still fights to breathe. The hum of the streets, car horns, kids laughing, the faint thump of a basketball mixes with the sharp wail of a police siren, a sound that makes your chest tighten. This is Detroit in 2024, a place where black folks make up 80% of the pulse, but justice often feels like a stranger. The ACLU says black folks here get stopped by cops 4 times more than anybody else, just for walking, just for living. In the heart of this struggle stands Isaiah Carter, a 16-year-old with a smile that could outshine the city lights and dreams that reach beyond the skyline. But tonight, as Isaiah steps out of a corner store, a bottle of water in hand, he's about to face a storm that could drown his future. Stay with me, because this is where a boy's truth collides with a cop's doubt, and the sparks will light up the night. Picture Isaiah on the neighborhood court, the asphalt cracked but sacred, each dribble a prayer, each shot a vow. His sneakers squeak, his boys shout, "Go, Zay!" as he sinks a three-pointer, the ball kissing the net like it was meant to be. Isaiah dreams of the NBA, of hearing his name over the roar of a crowd, of seeing his mama Angela in the stands, her eyes wet with pride. He ain't just another kid from Detroit's west side. He's a poet with a ball, a dreamer carving hope out of hardship. But in this city, hope comes with a warning. Angela's voice, soft but heavy, echoes every morning. "Don't talk back to the police, Zay. Keep your hands where they can see 'em. Come home to me." Those words are armor, but they weigh him down, a reminder that his skin makes him a target. Isaiah's block is alive, a rhythm of resilience. Kids play tag, dodging fire hydrants. Aunties swap stories on stoops, their laughter warm as summer. Miss Rose's cornbread fries in the kitchen, the smell pulling you in like a hug. But there's a shadow here, a fear that never sleeps. When a cop car rolls through, eyes drop, voices hush, and hearts skip. This ain't just a neighborhood, it's a battleground where stories like Botham Jean's, gunned down in his own home, hit like family news. Isaiah feels it. He's heard his grandma talk about the '67 riots when Detroit burned for justice that never came. He sees the scars in boarded-up shops in Angela's quick glance when he grabs his backpack. Let's hold Detroit close, because this city ain't just a place, it's a soul, bruised but unbroken. 1 in 4 black folks here has been hassled by cops for no reason, the numbers say. That ain't data, that's lives, like Isaiah's, caught in a system that sees guilt before it sees a person. We often fool ourselves, thinking racism is just a few bad cops, a glitch in the machine. Nah, it's the machine itself, built on rules and looks that say a kid like Isaiah rocking a hoodie must be trouble. That night, Isaiah leaves the court, sweat still clinging to his skin, his backpack bouncing light. He ducks into Mr. Lee's store where the neon buzzes and the bell jingles. "Yo, Mr. Lee," he calls, tossing coins for a water bottle, flashing that grin that makes the old man chuckle. "Keep ballin', Zay," Mr. Lee says. But as Isaiah steps out, Officer Michael Reynolds' eyes lock on him, hard and cold, like he's already done something wrong. Reynolds leans against his cruiser, his hand on his belt. "Hey, kid, hold up," he barks, his voice slicing the air. Isaiah freezes, his heart kicking like a bass line. Angela's words flash, "Stay calm, Zay." He turns slow, hands visible, water bottle glinting under the streetlight. "Where'd you get that?" Reynolds asks, nodding at the bottle, his tone sharp. Isaiah's throat tightens, but he keeps it steady. "Bought it, sir, with my own money." Reynolds steps closer, his shadow swallowing the light. "Your money, huh? You sure you didn't lift it?" Isaiah's chest burns, but he holds his ground. "I paid, sir. Ask Mr. Lee." Reynolds smirks, a mean twist of his lips. "Don't get smart with me, kid." The street's quiet now. A few neighbors watching from porches. They phones out, but they feet still. Isaiah feels their eyes, feels the weight of being seen but not saved. Then it escalates. "What's in the bag?" Reynolds demands, jerking his chin at Isaiah's backpack. Isaiah unzips his slow, hands shaking just a little. "Just my gym stuff, sir." Reynolds scoffs. "Gym stuff? What, you some kind of athlete?" Isaiah nods, voice low. "Yes, sir. Basketball. My dad taught me. He's Colonel Samuel Carter, Delta Force." Reynolds laughs, a harsh bark that cuts deep. "Delta Force? Boy, you think I'm stupid? Ain't no way your pops is some elite soldier." He steps closer, his voice dropping to a growl. "Stop lying before I make this worse. Imagine you, Isaiah, 16, standing under that streetlight, your truth laughed off like a joke. Your dad, a man who risked his life in shadows for this country, reduced to a punchline." Isaiah's jaw tightens, but he don't back down. "It's true, sir. My dad's a hero." Reynolds' eyes narrow, his hand twitching. "Keep talking, kid, and you'll regret it." Across the street, Miss Rose steps forward, her voice sharp. "That's Angela's boy. He ain't done nothing." Reynolds spins, pointing. "Stay out of it, lady, or you're next." Isaiah's heart races, but he holds on to his dad's words. "You're stronger than they know." This ain't just a moment, it's a spark in a city ready to ignite. The NAACP says black teens like Isaiah face this daily, profiled for existing, they truth dismissed. Think of Trayvon Martin, killed for a hoodie and Skittles, or Tamir Rice, gone for a toy gun. Reynolds' laugh ain't new. It's a weapon meant to shrink Isaiah, to silence him. We often think these are one-off clashes, not a pattern. That's the lie. It's a system, alive in every smirk, every assumption. Stay with me, because Isaiah's fight is just beginning. As Reynolds looms, his hand inching toward his cuffs, Isaiah stands tall, his dad's strength burning inside. Miss Rose's phone is up, recording, and the block is watching. Something's coming, a storm, a savior, a reckoning. When a boy's truth meets a cop's doubt, what happens next? Hold tight, because Detroit's about to roar. Under the flickering streetlights of Detroit, the air is thick with tension. A city holding its breath as Isaiah Carter, 16, stands trapped in the glare of Officer Michael Reynolds' suspicion. The year is 2024, and this West Side block, alive with the soul of Black Detroit, feels like a stage where dreams and fears collide. Isaiah's hand grips a water bottle. His truth, his father, Colonel Samuel Carter, a Delta Force legend, laughed off by Reynolds' cruel smirk. "Delta Force, boy, you full of it," Reynolds sneers, his hand twitching toward his cuffs. Across the street, Miss Rose records, her phone a silent witness, while neighbors watch, their whispers a chorus of worry. Isaiah's heart pounds, but his dad's words echo, "You're stronger than they know." This isn't just a moment, It's a spark, and the fire's about to spread. Stay with me, because when a cop's doubt meets a boy's pride, the ground shakes. Isaiah's block is a heartbeat, where kids' laughter and elder stories weave a tapestry of survival. But tonight, it's a battleground. The NAACP says black teens like Isaiah are 3 times more likely to be stopped. Their every move questioned, their existence a question mark. Think of Trayvon Martin gunned down for a bag of Skittles, or Eric Garner choked for nothing. Reynolds' scorn isn't new. It's a script written in a system that sees Isaiah's skin before his soul. Miss Rose, her voice sharp, calls out again, "That's Angela's boy, let him be." Reynolds spins, his finger jabbing the air. "Back off, or you're in cuffs too." The crowd stirs, phones up, but fear keeps them rooted. Isaiah feels it, the weight of being seen, but not saved. Stay with me, because when a cop's doubt meets a boy's pride, the ground shakes. Isaiah's block is a heartbeat, where kids' laughter and elder stories weave a tapestry of survival. But tonight, it's a battleground. The NAACP says black teens like Isaiah are 3 times more likely to be stopped. Their every move questioned, their existence a question mark. Think of Trayvon Martin gunned down for a bag of Skittles, or Eric Garner choked for nothing. Reynolds' scorn isn't new. It's a script written in a system that sees Isaiah's skin before his soul. Miss Rose, her voice sharp, calls out again, "That's Angela's boy, let him be." Reynolds spins, his finger jabbing the air. "Back off, or you're in cuffs too." The crowd stirs, phones up, but fear keeps them rooted. Isaiah feels it, the weight of being seen, but not saved. Reynolds steps closer, his shadow swallowing Isaiah's frame. "You think you slick, huh? Lying about your daddy?" he taunts, his voice a blade. Isaiah's jaw tightens, his eyes steady despite the tremble in his hands. "I ain't lying, sir. My dad's Colonel Samuel Carter. Call him, you'll see." Reynolds laughs, a cold, jagged sound. "Call him? Boy, I ought to drag you in for wasting my time." He grabs Isaiah's arm, twisting it just enough to sting. Isaiah winces, but don't cry out. He thinks of his mama, Angela, her voice at breakfast. "Keep your head up, Zay, no matter what." He thinks of his dad, the man who faced death in deserts, who taught him to stand tall. "I'm telling the truth," Isaiah says, voice low but firm.
Let's hold this moment, because it's more than a clash. It's a mirror to a city's pain. The Sentencing Project shows black youth face harsher scrutiny. They words dismissed, they dignity a target. Reynolds' grip on Isaiah's arm ain't just physical. It's power wielded to remind a boy of his place. Compare this to Philando Castile, shot for reaching for his license, or Tamir Rice, killed for a toy. The mistake we make is thinking these are accidents. They ain't. They're the pulse of a system that assumes guilt, where a black teen's truth is a lie until proven otherwise. Isaiah's not just fighting Reynolds, he's fighting that system with every word, every breath. Across the street, Miss Rose don't back down. "You wrong for this, Reynolds," she shouts, her phone steady, the video streaming to X, where hashtag justice for Isaiah is starting to flicker. A neighbor, young Jamal, steps up, his voice shaking. "Let Zay go, man. He ain't hurting nobody." Reynolds glares, his hand now on his baton. "One more word and y'all regret it." But the block's waking up. Porches creak, doors open, and eyes burn with a fire Detroit knows well. The fire of '67, of Ferguson, of every time the people said enough. Isaiah sees it, feels it, and it keeps him standing, even as Reynolds' grip tightens. Isaiah's mind races. He sees his dad's face, calm under pressure, telling stories of Delta Force missions, raids in Iraq, shadows moving through chaos. "You got that strength in you, Zay," Samuel always said. Isaiah clings to that, his voice rising just a bit. "My dad's a hero, sir, you'll see." Reynolds scoffs, but there's a crack in his swagger, a flicker of doubt. He yanks Isaiah toward the cruiser, muttering, "We'll see who's lying when you're in the back seat." The crowd gasps. Miss Rose's voice breaking, "Don't you touch him." Jamal's phone joins hers. The block now a constellation of cameras. Each lands a spark. This is the crucible, where a boy's pride meets a cop's power. The air's electric, every breath heavy. Isaiah's arm burns, but he don't bow. He thinks of Angela praying at home, a Samuel somewhere out there, a force waiting to strike. And then a low rumble, tires on asphalt, a car door slamming. Heads turn, the crowd hushes, and Reynolds freezes, his hand still on Isaiah. Something's coming, someone's here, and the street feels it. Miss Rose whispers, "Lord, let it be him." Jamal's eyes widen, his phone shaking. Isaiah's heart skips, hope flaring like a match. Let's talk about this spark, because it's Detroit's story too. The Brennan Center says community pressure can shift the system, like in Minneapolis after George Floyd. Isaiah's stand, backed by Miss Rose, Jamal, and a block that won't stay silent, is that pressure. The era is thinking one kid can't start a fire. He can when his truth is loud enough. As Reynolds pulls Isaiah closer to the cruiser, the rumble grows louder, and a shadow steps into the light. When a father's love meets a city's rage, what happens next? Hold tight, because this block's about to blaze.
In the flickering streetlights of Detroit, the air's thick with tension. A city holding its breath as Isaiah Carter, 16, stands trapped in the glare of Officer Michael Reynolds' suspicion. The year is 2024, and this West Side block, alive with the soul of Black Detroit, feels like a stage where dreams and fears collide. Isaiah's hand grips a water bottle, his truth, his father, Colonel Samuel Carter, a Delta Force legend, laughed off by Reynolds' cruel smirk. "Delta Force? Boy, you full of it," Reynolds sneers, his hand twitching toward his cuffs. Across the street, Miss Rose records, her phone a silent witness, while neighbors watch, their whispers a chorus of worry. Isaiah's heart pounds, but his dad's words echo, "You're stronger than they know." This isn't just a moment, it's a spark, and the fire's about to spread. Stay with me, because when a cop's doubt meets a boy's pride, the ground shakes. Isaiah's block is a heartbeat, where kids' laughter and elder stories weave a tapestry of survival. But tonight, it's a battleground. The NAACP says Black teens like Isaiah are 3 times more likely to be stopped, their every move questioned, their existence a question mark. Think of Trayvon Martin, gunned down for a bag of Skittles, or Eric Garner, choked for nothing. Reynolds' scorn isn't new. It's a script written in a system that sees Isaiah's skin before his soul. Miss Rose, her voice sharp, calls out again, "That's Angela's boy, let him be."
Reynolds spins, his finger jabbing the air. Back off or you're in cuffs too. The crowd stirs, phones up, but fear keeps them rooted. Isaiah feels it, the weight of being seen, but not saved. Reynolds steps closer, his shadow swallowing Isaiah's frame. "You think you slick, huh? Lying about your daddy?" he taunts, his voice a blade. Isaiah's jaw tightens, his eyes steady despite the tremble in his hands. "I ain't lying, sir. My dad's Colonel Samuel Carter. Call him, you'll see." Reynolds laughs, a cold, jagged sound. "Call him? Boy, I ought to drag you in for wasting my time." He grabs Isaiah's arm, twisting it just enough to sting. Isaiah winces, but don't cry out. He thinks of his mama, Angela, her voice at breakfast. "Keep your head up, Zay, no matter what." He thinks of his dad, the man who faced death in deserts, who taught him to stand tall. "I'm telling the truth," Isaiah says, voice low but firm. Let's hold this moment, because it's more than a clash, it's a mirror to a city's pain. The sentencing project shows black youth face harsher scrutiny, their words dismissed, their dignity a target. Reynolds' grip on Isaiah's arm ain't just physical, it's power wielded to remind a boy of his place. Compare this to Philando Castile, shot for reaching for his license, or Tamir Rice, killed for a toy. The mistake we make is thinking these are accidents. They ain't. They're the pulse of a system that assumes guilt, where a black teen's truth is a lie until proven otherwise. Isaiah's not just fighting Reynolds, he's fighting that system with every word, every breath. Across the street, Miss Rose don't back down. "You wrong for this, Reynolds," she shouts, her phone steady, the video streaming to X, where hashtag justice for Isaiah is starting to flicker. A neighbor, young Jamal, steps up, his voice shaking. "Let Zay go, man. He ain't hurt nobody." Reynolds glares, his hand now on his baton. "One more word and y'all regret it." But the blacks waking up. Porches creak, doors open, and eyes burn with a fire Detroit knows well, the fire of '67, of Ferguson, of every time the people said enough. Isaiah sees it, feels it, and it keeps him standing, even as Reynolds' grip tightens.
Isaiah's mind races. He sees his dad's face, calm under pressure, telling stories of Delta Force missions, raids in Iraq, shadows moving through chaos. "You got that strength in you, Zay," Samuel always said. Isaiah clings to that, his voice rising just a bit. "My dad's a hero, sir. You'll see." Reynolds scoffs, but there's a crack in his swagger, a flicker of doubt. He yanks Isaiah toward the cruiser, muttering, "We'll see who's lying when you in the back seat." The crowd gasps, Miss Rose's voice breaking. "Don't you touch him!" Jamal's phone joins hers, the block now a constellation of cameras, each lens a spark. This is the crucible, where a boy's pride meets a cop's power. The air's electric, every breath heavy. Isaiah's arm burns, but he don't bow. He thinks of Angela, praying at home, a Samuel, somewhere out there, a force waiting to strike. And then, a low rumble, tires on asphalt, a car door slamming. Heads turn, the crowd hushes, and Reynolds freezes, his hands still on Isaiah. Something's coming, someone's here, and the street feels it. Miss Rose whispers, "Lord, let it be him." Jamal's eyes widen, his phone shaking. Isaiah's heart skips, hope flaring like a match. Let's talk about this spark, because it's Detroit's story too. The Brennan Center says community pressure can shift the system, like in Minneapolis after George Floyd. Isaiah stand, backed by Miss Rose, Jamal, and a block that won't stay silent. Is that pressure? The era is thinking one kid can't start a fire. He can when his truth is loud enough. As Reynolds pulls Isaiah closer to the cruiser, the rumble grows louder and a shadow steps into the light. When a father's love meets a city's rage, what happens next? Hold tight, because this block's about to blaze. The Detroit night hums with a restless energy, its west side streets alive with the ghosts of resilience and rebellion. It's 2024, and Isaiah Carter, 16, is still reeling from Officer Michael Reynolds' cruel laugh. His truth about his father, Colonel Samuel Carter, a Delta Force legend, dismissed like dust. The sting of Reynolds' grip lingers on Isaiah's arm, the cop's threat to cuff him echoing under the street lights. Miss Rose's phone captures it all, her video flickering across X with #Justice for Isaiah, while neighbors watch, their anger a quiet fire. But in this moment, Isaiah's heart clings to one anchor, his family, the rock that keeps him standing. Let's step into his mind, where memories of his father's strength and his mother's love become a shield against the storm. Stay with me, because this is where a boy finds the courage to face a world that doubts him. Isaiah's block is more than concrete and streetlights. It's a sanctuary where Black Detroit's soul shines through. Kids' laughter echoes from porches, Miss Rose's cornbread scents the air, and elder stories carry the weight of history. But tonight, it's a stage with Isaiah center, his dreams of NBA glory tested by Reynolds' sneer. The NAACP reports Black teens like him are stopped 3 times more than others, their lives dissected by suspicion. Think of Trayvon Martin, killed for a hoodie, or Eric Garner, gone for breathing. Isaiah's fight ain't new. It's a legacy woven into Detroit's scars, from the '67 riots to today's quiet battles.
In the chaos, Isaiah's mind drifts, pulling him to a memory that holds him steady. It's a summer evening, 2 years back, the kind where the air's warm and the stars feel close. He's 12, sitting on the porch with his dad, Colonel Samuel Carter, a man whose presence fills the space like a quiet storm. Samuel's in a plain tee, but his eyes carry the weight of deserts and battlefields. "Zay," he says, voice low, "I was one of the first Black men in Delta Force. Folks said I didn't belong, but I proved them wrong." Isaiah listens, wide-eyed, as Samuel tells of a mission in Iraq, slipping through enemy lines, saving hostages under a moonless sky. "It wasn't about being fearless," Samuel says. "It was about knowing who you are, no matter what they throw at you." Isaiah soaks it in, his young heart swelling. He sees the scars on Samuel's hands, marks of a life spent fighting. "You got that strength in you, Zay," Samuel adds, ruffling his hair. "This world'll test you, but you're built for it." That night, Isaiah falls asleep dreaming of courts and courage, his dad's words a lighthouse. Now, under Reynolds' glare, those words burn bright. "My dad's a hero," Isaiah repeats, softer this time, but with a fire Reynolds can't touch. The cop scoffs. "Hero, huh? Keep dreaming, kid." But Isaiah's memory of Samuel holds him up, a shield against the doubt. Then there's Angela, Isaiah's mama, her love a fortress. Another memory flashes, mornings at the kitchen table, Angela's hands warm around a coffee mug, her voice steady as she shares her own fight. "Your grandma marched in '67, Zay," she says, eyes distant. "Cops beat her, but she kept going. That's our blood, baby."
Angela, a teacher, fights her battles in classrooms, teaching kids like Isaiah to dream big. Don't let nobody steal your worth, she tells him, her gaze fierce. Not a cop, not a system, nobody. Isaiah carries that now, standing tall as Reynolds twists his arm. The pain sharp, but his spirit sharper. Let's hold this, because family ain't just love, it's power. The Sentencing Project shows black families like the Carters face a system that targets their kids, from school suspensions to street stops. Think of Mamie Till Mobley, who turned her son's murder into a movement, or Philando Castile's mama fighting for justice. Samuel and Angela give Isaiah more than words. They give him roots deep enough to weather this storm. The mistake we make is thinking kids like Isaiah fight alone. They don't. They carry their people, their history in every step. Back in the moment, Reynolds' grip tightens, his voice a growl. You done talking about your daddy, boy? Isaiah's eyes flicker to Miss Rose, her phone still up, then to Jamal, his friend, whispering, hold on, Zay. The crowd's growing, they phones a constellation of truth. Isaiah's voice steadies, drawing on Samuel's calm, Angela's fire. I ain't lying, sir. My dad's out there, and he'll show you. Reynolds laughs, but it's thinner now, like he feels the block's eyes, the cameras, the shift in the air. Show me, he mocks, yanking Isaiah toward the cruiser. Ain't nobody coming for you. But Isaiah knows better. He sees Samuel's face. He is Angela's prayers. You're enough, they've told him, over and over. He thinks of the porch, the kitchen, the love that built him. My dad's a hero, he says again, almost to himself, a mantra against the dark. Miss Rose's voice cuts through. That's right, Zay, your daddy's coming. The crowd murmurs, bolder now, phones flashing. Reynolds hesitates, his hand loosening just a fraction. Something stirring, a rumble, a shadow, a promise. The street feels it, like a heartbeat quickening. This is the spark, where a boy's roots meet a city's rage. The Brennan Center says families like Isaiah's, backed by community, can challenge the system, like in Ferguson after Michael Brown. The era is thinking one kid's voice don't matter. It does when it's anchored by love. As Reynolds pulls Isaiah closer to the cruiser, a car door slams, footsteps echo, and the crowd gasps. That's him, Jamal whispers, his phone trembling. Isaiah's eyes lift, hope flaring. When a father's strength meets a son's stand, what's next? Hold tight, because this night's about to break wide open. The Detroit night crackles with a raw, unyielding tension, its west side streets pulsing like a heart ready to burst. It's 2024, and Isaiah Carter, 16, stands pinned under the harsh glow of a streetlight. Officer Michael Reynolds' hand twisting his arm, the cop's laughter still ringing in his ears. Isaiah's truth, his father, Colonel Samuel Carter, a Delta Force legend, has been mocked, his pride bruised but unbroken. Ms. Rose's phone captures every second, her video fueling hashtag Justice for Isaiah on X, while neighbors edge closer, their whispers turn into shouts. The air is heavy, electric, as Reynolds threatens to cuff Isaiah, his baton gleaming with intent. But in this moment, the block holds its breath, sensing a reckoning. Stay with me, because this is where a cop's power meets a community's fury, and a single act ignites a fire. Isaiah's neighborhood is a living testament to Black Detroit's soul. Cracked sidewalks where kids dream, porches where elders preach, and the scent of Miss Rose's cornbread knitting it all together. But tonight, it's a battlefield. The NAACP says Black teens like Isaiah face triple the stops, their every step a suspect move. Think of Rodney King beaten on camera or Eric Garner pleading for breath. Reynolds' grip on Isaiah ain't just a hold, it's a system pressing down, daring a boy to break. Miss Rose, her voice a blade, yells again, "You let Angela's boy go, Reynolds!" The cop snaps back, "Shut it or you're next." But the block's waking, phones up, eyes burning with a fire Detroit's carried since '67. Reynolds towers over Isaiah, his baton now drawn, glinting under the light. "You done lying 'bout your daddy, boy?" he growls, his voice thick with scorn. Isaiah's arm throbs, pain shooting through, but he don't flinch. His dad's words, Samuel's calm, steady voice, anchor him. "You're built for this, Zay." His mama's fire, Angela's fierce love, burns in his chest. "I ain't lying," Isaiah says, his voice steady, eyes locked on Reynolds. "My dad's Colonel Carter, you'll see." Reynolds laughs, a cruel bark, but it's fraying, like he feels the crown's heat. "See what? You going nowhere but the station."
Then it happens. Reynolds' hand swings, a sharp slap across Isaiah's face, the crack echoing like a gunshot. Isaiah stumbles, his cheeks stinging, the water bottle slipping from his hand, rolling into the gutter. The crowd gasps, a collective inhale, then erupts. "You hit him!" Miss Rose screams, her phone shaking but steady. Jamal, Isaiah's friend, lunges forward, voice raw. "That's a kid, man! You can't do that!" Reynolds spins, baton raised. "Back up, all y'all, or I swear!" But the block don't back down. Phones multiply, a sea of lenses, each one a witness. Isaiah touches his cheek, the pain sharp, but his eyes don't drop. He thinks of Samuel, of Angela, of every story they told him about standing tall. Let's hold this moment, because this slap ain't just violence, it's a declaration. The Sentencing Project says Black youth like Isaiah face disproportionate force, their bodies a canvas for power's abuse. Think of Tyree Nichols beaten to death in Memphis, or Tamir Rice shot for a toy. Reynolds' slap is a message. Know your place. The mistake we make is thinking this is one cop's anger. It ain't. It's a system, alive in every swing, every smirk, designed to silence. But Isaiah don't break. His cheek burns, but his dad's missions, raids in Iraq, lives saved in shadows, flash in his mind. "You're stronger," Samuel said. Isaiah straightens, voice low. "You shouldn't have done that, sir." The block explodes into sound. Miss Rose, her voice a roar. "That's on camera, Reynolds. You done." Jamal's right there, phone up, shouting, "World seeing this, man." Neighbors step off porches, their fear giving way to fury. "Let Zay go," a woman calls. "He's one of ours," a man adds. The video's live on X now, hashtag Justice for Isaiah trending, comments flooding. "This why we march, Detroit's had enough." Reynolds feels it, the shift, the eyes, the phones. He steps back, just a fraction, his baton lowering, but his jaws tight. "Y'all want to make this worse?" he snaps, but his voice wavers, caught in the block's rising tide.
Isaiah's heart races, the slap sting fading under a swell of pride. He sees Miss Rose, her fierce love, Jamal's loyalty, the neighbor's courage. He thinks of Angela's stories, her mama marching in '67, facing batons for freedom. He thinks of Samuel, a black man in Delta Force, proving the world wrong. My dad's coming, Isaiah says, almost to himself, a vow. Reynolds scoffs, ain't nobody coming, but his eyes dart, nervous now. The crowd's louder, phones flashing like stars. Then a rumble, tires screeching, a car door slamming. Heads turn, the block steals, and Reynolds freezes, his hand hovering over his cuffs. This is the spark, where a boy's pain meets a people's power. The Brennan Center says communities like this, when they rise, can shake systems like Ferguson did for Michael Brown. The era is thinking one slap ends a story. It don't. It starts one when a block says no more. As Reynolds glares, the rumble grows, footsteps echo, and a shadow looms. Miss Rose whispers, "That's him, y'all." Jamal's phone trembles, capturing it all. Isaiah's eyes lift, hope blazing. When a community's love meets a cop's hate, what's next? Hold tight, because this street's about to burn bright. The Detroit night is a furnace, its West Side streets seething under the weight of a city's rage. It's 2024, and Isaiah Carter, 16, stands with a burning cheek. The sting of Officer Michael Reynolds' slap still raw. His truth about his father, Colonel Samuel Carter, a Delta Force legend, mocked and dismissed. The block is alive. Miss Rose's phone beaming hashtag justice for Isaiah across X. Neighbors shouting, they phones a constellation of defiance. Reynolds, baton in hand, falters as the crowd's fury grows. His threat to cuff Isaiah crumbling under their glare. Then a car door slams, footsteps echo, and the air shifts, heavy with promise. A shadow steps into the streetlight's glow, and the block knows he's here. Stay with me, because this is where a father's love meets a cop's shame, and a boy's courage lights the way. Isaiah's neighborhood is Black Detroit's heartbeat. Cracked pavement where dreams are born, porches where hope is stitched together. But tonight, it's a crucible. The NAACP says black teens like Isaiah face triple the stops, their lives dissected by suspicion. Think of Tyree Nichols beaten in Memphis, or Philando Castile killed for a wallet. Reynolds' slap wasn't just an act, it was power, meant to break a boy. But Isaiah don't break. His cheek throbs, but his dad's words, Samuel's steady voice, hold him up. You built for this, Zay. Miss Rose's cry, he's here, cuts through, and the crowd hushes, phone steady, waiting. The shadow moves, and Colonel Samuel Carter steps into the light, his Delta Force dress uniform crisp, medals glinting like stars. At 45, he's a tower of quiet strength, his eyes carrying deserts and battlefields, his presence silencing the street. The crowd gasps, then roars. "That's Zay's daddy," Miss Rose shouts, her phone shaking. Jamal, Isaiah's friend, yells, "Told you, man." Isaiah's heart leaps, his cheeks pain fading under pride. Samuel's gaze locks on Reynolds, calm but unyielding, a warrior's focus. "Officer," he says, voice low, cutting like steel, "take your hands off my son." Reynolds freezes, his baton dropping an inch, his face paling. I didn't know," he stammers, his swagger gone, his eyes darting from Samuel's uniform to the crowd's phones.
Samuel steps closer, his boots steady on the asphalt. "Didn't know," he says, each word a hammer, or "didn't care. You struck my boy for telling the truth." Isaiah, still in Reynolds' grip, feels his dad's strength flow through him. "Dad," he whispers, voice thick. Samuel's eyes soften for a moment, a father's love, then harden on Reynolds. "Let him go, now. Let's hold this, because this ain't just a rescue, it's a reckoning." The Sentencing Project shows black families like the Carters face a system that targets their kids from streets to schools. Think of Mamie Till Mobley turning grief into fire, or George Floyd's family demanding change. Samuel's uniform, earned through missions in Iraq, defying odds as a black Delta Force soldier, carries weight Reynolds can't ignore. The mistake we make is thinking power like Samuel's fixes everything. It don't. It's a spark, but the fire needs a community, like this block, to burn. The error is assuming one man's presence ends the fight. It starts it.
Reynolds' hand loosens and Isaiah steps free, his cheeks still red but his head high. "I told you," Isaiah says, voice steady, eyes on Reynolds. The cop stumbles back, muttering, "Didn't mean no harm, sir." Samuel's stare don't waver. "Harm?" he says, voice rising just enough. "You slapped my son for saying who I am. You think a badge gives you that right?" The crowd erupts, cheers and shouts, "Tell him, Colonel, that's right." Miss Rose's video streams live, X lighting up with comments. "This why we fight. Detroit's done with this." Reynolds shrinks, his baton now limp, his authority a ghost. Isaiah moves to his dad's side, their eyes meeting, a silent vow, a father's pride, a son's relief. "You good, Zay?" Samuel asks, his hand on Isaiah's shoulder. "Yeah, Dad," Isaiah says, his voice stronger now. The block feels it, the shift, the power flipping. Jamal's voice breaks through. "Zay's free, y'all!" The crowd roars louder, phones flashing like a storm. Reynolds, cornered by truth, tries one last jab. "I was just doing my job," he says, voice thin. Samuel steps forward, towering. "Your job ain't assaulting kids. Your job's to protect. Start acting like it." This is the moment where a father's love reclaims a son's dignity. The Brennan Center says community witnesses like Miss Rose and Jamal can force accountability like in Minneapolis post-Floyd. Reynolds' defeat ain't just his, it's a crack in the system, widened by a block that won't stay quiet. But the fight ain't over. Isaiah's cheek still stings, and Samuel's eyes hold a fire that says this is bigger than one cop. The crowd chants, "Justice for Zay," as phones keep rolling, the video now viral. A car engine hums nearby, more lights flashing. Cops or cameras, nobody knows. Stay with me, because this spark's about to blaze. Samuel's here, but the block's the real hero. Their voice is a chorus that won't fade. Isaiah stands taller, his dad's arm around him. Miss Rose's video a weapon, Jamal shouts a battle cry. When a father's strength meets a community stand, what's next? Hold tight, because Detroit's ready to roar. The Detroit night pulses with a fierce, unbroken spirit. Its west side streets alive with the roar of a community refusing to be silenced. It's 2024, and Isaiah Carter, 16, stands beside his father, Colonel Samuel Carter, a Delta Force legend whose presence has shattered Officer Michael Reynolds' arrogance. The sting of Reynolds' slap still lingers on Isaiah's cheek, but the block, Miss Rose, Jamal, and neighbors with phones raised high has turned the tide. Their video of the assault blazing across X with hashtag Justice for Isaiah. Reynolds, his baton limp, shrinks under the crowd's fury, his excuses drowned by shouts of "Let Zay be!" But this ain't just one boy's victory. This is a neighborhood rising, a city waking. Stay with me, because when a block finds its voice, the whole world listens.
Isaiah's west side is Black Detroit's soul. Cracked sidewalks where kids chase dreams. Stoops where aunties weave wisdom. And the scent of Miss Rose's cornbread holds it all together. Tonight, it's a revolution. The NAACP says black communities like this face constant profiling. Their youth stop 3 times more than others. Think of Ferguson after Michael Brown, or Minneapolis after George Floyd. Moments when the people said enough. This block's no different. Miss Rose's video, now viral, shows Reynolds' slap, Isaiah's defiance, Samuel's stand. Comments flood X. This why we march. Detroit's done. The crowd grows, spilling onto the street. They phones a galaxy of truth. Miss Rose, her voice a thunderclap, holds her phone high. "We got you, Reynolds," she shouts, her live stream hitting thousands. Jamal, Isaiah's best friend, joins her, his voice raw. "This ain't just Zay, it's all of us." Neighbors step off porches, they fear burned away. "That's Angela's boy," an elder calls. "He's ours," a young woman adds, her phone up, recording. The block's alive, a chorus of rage and love. Isaiah, beside Samuel, feels it, they strength wrapping around him like armor. "They with me," he whispers, his cheeks still sore, but his heart full. Samuel nods, his hand on Isaiah's shoulder, eyes scanning the crowd with a soldier's calm. "Let's hold this, because this ain't just a protest, it's a resurrection." The Brennan Center says community action like this block stand can force change from policy to accountability. Think of the Montgomery bus boycott sparked by Rosa Parks, or the millions who marched for Breonna Taylor. The mistake we make is thinking crowds are just noise. They ain't. They power, woven from shared pain, shared hope. This block's fight is for Isaiah, but it's also for every kid who's been stopped, searched, doubted. The era is assuming one video can't shake a system. It can, when it's backed by people who won't quit. Across the street, a young activist, Malik Jones, grabs a megaphone, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Isaiah Carter is our son, our brother," he booms. This block says no more slaps, no more lies. The crowd roars, fists raised, signs popping up, "Justice for Zay, end profiling now." Malik, a local organizer, knows this fight. He marched for a cousin lost to a cop's bullet years back. "We're here for Zay, for all our kids," he shouts, and the block chants, "No justice, no peace." Isaiah watches, eyes wide, feeling the weight of they love. "They mean it, Dad," he says. Samuel's jaw tightens, pride in his gaze. "They always have, Zay." The video's reach explodes. On X, hashtag Justice for Isaiah trends nationwide.
Retweets pouring in. Detroit's showing us how. Fire that cop. A news van pulls up, a reporter jumping out, mic ready. This is live from Detroit, she says, voice urgent, where a community demands justice for Isaiah Carter, a teen assaulted by police. She compares it to Philando Castile's case, where a routine stop turned deadly. The block don't stop. More neighbors join, kids, elders, even Mr. Lee from the corner store, his sign reading, Zay's our star. Miss Rose, still streaming, narrates, "This ain't new, y'all. We been here before, but we ain't quitting." Isaiah's heart races. The crowds chant a rhythm he feels in his bones. He thinks of his mama, Angela, her stories of '67, when Detroit's streets burned for fairness. He thinks of Samuel, facing down enemies in Iraq, now facing a different war here. "They're fighting for me," he says, voice soft. Samuel looks at him, eyes fierce. "For you and for what's right." But Isaiah's got a flicker of fear. What if they forget?
This is the fire, where a block's love becomes a movement. The Pew Research Center says social media, like X, amplifies voices, turning local fights into global calls. The era is thinking this crowd's just here for tonight. They ain't. They are building something, a demand for a world where Isaiah can walk without fear. Malik's voice rises again. "We want Reynolds gone. We want our kids safe." The crowd echoes, their chants shaking the street. The news camera pans, capturing signs, faces, phones. A cop car idles nearby, lights flashing, but the block don't flinch. They know they power. Stay with me, because this spark's spreading. Isaiah, Samuel, Miss Rose, Jamal, this block's a family. Their voice is a weapon. The video's viral, the chants unstoppable, and Reynolds' badge don't mean much now. But the fight's bigger than one cop. Isaiah's cheek still burns, and Samuel's eyes say this ain't over. As the crowd grows, a new sound rises. Footsteps, more cars, a city joining in. When a block rises, what can stop it? Hold tight, because Detroit's fire is burning bright. The Detroit dawn breaks with a restless glow. Its west side streets still humming from the night's fire. It's 2024, and Isaiah Carter, 16, stands with his father, Colonel Samuel Carter, a Delta Force legend. Their bond a fortress after Officer Michael Reynolds' slap shattered the block's silence. Miss Rose's video, blazing across X with #Justice for Isaiah, has turned a cop's cruelty into a city's cry. The crowd's chants, "No justice, no peace," echoing like a heartbeat. Reynolds, his badge tarnished, slinks away. But the fight ain't over. The block's awake, their phones a weapon, their voices a tide. Now the system feels the heat and consequences loom. Stay with me, because when a community demands truth, even the strongest walls start to crack. Isaiah's neighborhood is Black Detroit's pulse. Cracked pavement where kids chase hoop dreams. Stoops where elders pass down courage. Miss Rose's cornbread a reminder of home. But this morning, it's a courtroom. The NAACP says Black folks here face a system rigged to doubt them, with cops like Reynolds rarely held accountable. Only 1% of excessive force cases lead to charges per their data. Think of Eric Garner choked for nothing, or Breonna Taylor killed in her sleep.
Reynolds' slap on Isaiah wasn't just personal, it was policy, a system saying black boys don't deserve respect. But this block's fight, fueled by Samuel's stand and Miss Rose's video, is shaking that foundation.
At the precinct, Reynolds sits in a dim office, his uniform wrinkled, his swagger gone. His captain, face grim, slides a memo across the desk. "You suspended, Mike, pending investigation." Reynolds' jaw drops, his voice a rasp. "For what? That kid was lying." The captain leans in, voice cold. "You slapped a teen on camera, Mike. The whole city seen it." Reynolds slumps, the weight of X's outrage. Hashtag justice for Isaiah trending with thousands of shares, crushing him. He thinks of the block, those phones, Miss Rose's glare. "It was just a slap," he mutters, but even he don't believe it. The precinct's buzzing, cops whispering, "Mike's done, that video's everywhere." Across town, Samuel's at home, his Delta Force instinct sharp, digging into Reynolds' past. He's on the phone with a contact, voice low. "Check his record, Reese, every complaint, every write-up." Reese, a retired cop, grunts. "Already on it, Sam. Guy's got 3 use of force flags, all swept under the rug." Samuel's jaw tightens, his eyes on a photo of Isaiah smiling on the court. "Not this time," he says, hanging up. He knows one suspension ain't enough. Reynolds is a symptom, not the disease. The system's the real target, and Samuel's fighting for a world where his son can walk free. Isaiah's at the kitchen table, Angela's hand on his, her eyes soft but fierce. "You okay, Zay?" she asks, her voice a balm. Isaiah touches his cheek, the slap sting a memory now. "Yeah, Mama, but will they really punish him?" Angela sighs, her teacher's wisdom heavy. "They suspended him, baby. That's a start." Isaiah's eyes narrow, his voice small. "A start? He hit me, Mama, for nothing." Samuel, joining him, sits close. "Zay, justice moves slow, but we pushing. That video's got the city watching." Isaiah nods, but doubt lingers. What if they forget? Samuel's gaze is steel. "They won't. We won't let them." Let's hold this, because this ain't just about one cop. It's about a system on trial. The Brennan Center says community pressure, like this blocks, can force reform, like in Minneapolis after George Floyd. But the mistake we make is thinking a suspension is justice. It ain't. It's a bandage on a wound that's been bleeding since slavery. Think of Rodney King, beaten on tape, yet his cops walked free. Reynolds' suspension is a step, but without deeper change, better training, real accountability, it's hollow. The error is believing one man's fall fixes the machine. It don't. It takes a movement like the one Miss Rose and Jamal sparked. Outside, the block's still alive. Malik Jones, the activist, rallies neighbors, his megaphone booming. Reynolds is down, but we ain't done. He shouts, signs waving, "Fire Reynolds, protect our kids." The crowd chants, "Zay's our son." News crews swarm, a reporter's voice sharp. Detroit's West Side demands accountability after Officer Reynolds' assault on Isaiah Carter. She cites Philando Castile, killed for a traffic stop, tying this to a national fight. On X, hashtag Justice for Isaiah hits 1 million views, posts calling for Reynolds' badge for reform. Miss Rose, her phone now a symbol, tells Jamal, "This ain't just for Zay, it's for my grandson, for all of them." Isaiah steps outside, seeing the crowd, Malik's fire, the signs with his name. "They still here, Dad?" he says, voice thick. Samuel nods, his hand on Isaiah's back. They family, Zay. They always been. But Isaiah's got questions. What's next? Suspension ain't enough. Samuel's eyes burn, a soldier's resolve. We keep pushing. I'm sending Reese's findings to the press. This don't end till the system feel it. Angela joins them, her voice firm. And we teach our kids to keep fighting, Zay, like your grandma did in '67.
This is the moment where a block's rage meets a family's resolve. The Pew Research Center says viral videos like Miss Rose's can shift narratives, like in Ferguson. The era is thinking this fight's over when one cop's suspended. It ain't. Isaiah's cheek don't hurt no more, but his heart carries the block's hope, Samuel's fight, Angela's love. The crowd's chant grows, news cameras roll, and a new sound rises. More voices, more steps, a city joining in. When a community's truth meets a system's lies, what's next? Hold tight, because Detroit's fire won't fade. The Detroit morning glows soft, its west side streets bathed in a light that feels like grace after a long night's fight. It's 2024, and Isaiah Carter, 16, carries the fading sting of Officer Michael Reynolds' slap. But the fire of his father, Colonel Samuel Carter, and the block's unyielding love burns brighter. Miss Rose's video, now a beacon on X with hashtag Justice for Isaiah, has forced Reynolds' suspension, but the scars on Isaiah's heart linger. The block still hums, neighbors chanting, signs waving, yet Isaiah's quiet, searching for himself in the aftermath. This is his journey to heal, to reclaim the boy who dreams of NBA courts, held by a family and community that won't let him fall. Stay with me, because when a boy rebuilds, a city rises with him. Isaiah's neighborhood is Black Detroit's heartbeat, cracked courts where kids shoot hoops, porches where stories are born, Miss Rose's cornbread, a taste of home. But today, it's a sanctuary. The American Psychological Association says Black teens like Isaiah, targeted by profiling, often carry trauma, their spirits bruised by a world that doubts them. Think of Khalif Browder, broken by Rikers, or the countless kids whose pain don't make the news. Isaiah's slap wasn't just physical, it was a wound to his soul, a reminder that his skin makes him a target. But this block, this family, is his medicine, their love a balm for what hurts. Isaiah steps onto the court, the same one where he sank three-pointers before Reynolds' shadow fell. His sneakers squeak, but his first shot clanks off the rim, heavy with doubt. "Come on, Zay," he mutters, grabbing the ball. His hands shake, the memory of the slap flashing, Reynolds' laugh, the crowd's gasps. He shoots again, misses again. Jamal, his best friend, jogs over, tossing him a water bottle. "You good, man?" he asks, eyes soft. Isaiah shrugs, voice low. "Feel like I lost something, Jay, like I ain't me no more." Jamal nods, pointing to the hoop. "You steal, Zay. That cop don't get to take that." At home, Angela, Isaiah's mama, sees the weight in his eyes. She pulls him close, her teacher's hands warm on his shoulders. "You steal my star, Zay," she says, voice steady. "But it's okay to hurt." She shares a story, one Isaiah's heard but needs now. Her mama, his grandma, marching in Detroit's '67 riots, facing batons for justice. She got knocked down, baby, but she got up. So will you. Isaiah's throat tightens, his cheek tingling where the slap landed. "How, mama?" he asks, voice small. Angela smiles, fierce. By living, by being you, that's how we win. Samuel joins him, his Delta Force calm a quiet strength. He takes Isaiah to the backyard where they sit under an old oak. "Let's breathe, Zay," he says, guiding him through a meditation he learned in the field. Slow breaths, grounding the chaos. "Feel the ground, son. You're here. You're enough." Isaiah closes his eyes, the slaps echo fading, his dad's voice a lifeline. "I was scared, Dad," he admits, voice breaking. Samuel's hand rests on his back. "I know, but you stood tall. That's courage." Isaiah's eyes open, clearer now. "I want to be strong like you." Samuel's gaze softens, proud. "You already are." Let's hold this, because healing ain't just time. It's love, intention, community. The Sentencing Project says Black youth face trauma from systemic racism, often without support. Think of Trayvon Martin's family piecing themselves together, or Michael Brown's mama turning grief into action. The mistake we make is thinking kids like Isaiah bounce back easy. They don't. Trauma lingers, but family like Angela and Samuel, neighbors like Miss Rose, can light the way. The era is assuming healing happens alone. It don't. It takes a village like this block to rebuild a boy. The neighborhood don't let Isaiah fade. Miss Rose organizes a community game, a basketball match to raise funds for Isaiah's college dreams. "Zay's our future," she tells the block, her voice a call to arms. Jamal spreads the word, flyers taped to lampposts. On game day, the court's packed, kids, elders, even Mr. Lee from the store, cheering. Isaiah steps up, ball in hand, the crowd chanting, "Zay, Zay." His first shot shaky, but Jamal passes back, grinning. "You got this, man." Isaiah breathes, Samuel's meditation in his mind, Angela's love in his heart. He shoots a clean three-pointer, the net swishing. The crowd erupts, Miss Rose hollering, "That's our boy." Isaiah's smile breaks free, the first real one since the slap. He feels the block's love, their cheers washing away the pain. Angela, in the stands, wipes a tear, her pride fierce. Samuel claps, his soldiers calm, giving way to joy. "That's my son," he says, voice thick. Isaiah runs the court, passing to Jamal, stealing the ball, his body remembering who he is. The game ends, the block raising enough for a scholarship fund. Miss Rose hugs Isaiah, her voice warm. "You ain't alone, Zay. We got you." This is the moment where a boy's healing lifts a community. The Pew Research Center says collective support like this game can mend trauma's wounds, like in communities after Freddie Gray. The era is thinking Isaiah's pain is his to carry solo. It ain't. His block, his family carry it too, their love a bridge back to himself. As the crowd cheers, Isaiah looks to the sky, the slap a distant echo, his dreams alive again. But a new fire burns. He wants more than healing. He wants change. When a boy rises, what's next? Hold tight, because Detroit's ready to soar. The Detroit afternoon hums with a quiet resolve, its west side streets catching the golden light as if the city itself is stealing for the fight ahead. It's 2024, and Isaiah Carter, 16, is finding his footing again, his spirit lifted by the block's love and a three-pointer that reminded him who he is. But the battle sparked by Officer Michael Reynolds' slap isn't over. It's growing, and Colonel Samuel Carter, Isaiah's father and a Delta Force legend, is at its heart. With Reynolds suspended and hashtag justice for Isaiah echoing across X, Samuel knows a single cop's downfall ain't enough. This is about dismantling a system that preys on boys like his son. Stay with me, because when a father takes on the machine, a city's hope rises with him.
The West Side is Black Detroit's lifeline. Corner stores buzzing with gossip, barbershops humming with truth, kids weaving through alleys with dreams too big for the cracks in the pavement. Today, it's a war room. The Brennan says systemic change starts with relentless pressure, like the reforms after George Floyd's murder. Samuel's no stranger to impossible fights. His Delta Force missions took him through enemy strongholds. But this enemy, a system that targets Black youth, is harder to pin down. He's not just fighting for Isaiah. He's fighting for every kid who's ever been stopped, searched, or doubted, their future stolen by suspicion. Samuel's at his desk, a small room lined with military honors, his laptop open to a dossier on Reynolds. His contact, Reese, sent files. 3 complaints against Reynolds, buried by the precinct. "This guy's a pattern, Sam," Reese's email reads. Samuel's jaw tightens, his soldier's mind mapping the next move. He dials a reporter, Aisha Brooks, a West Side native known for exposing corruption. "Aisha," he says, voice steady, "I got evidence on Reynolds, years of abuse, covered up. This ain't just about my son." Aisha's voice crackles with urgency. "Send it over, Colonel. I'll make sure it hits hard." Samuel emails the files, knowing this story could force the city to act. At City Hall, Samuel meets the mayor, a meeting secured by the block's protests. He walks in, his uniform traded for a sharp suit, but his Delta Force presence undeniable. "Mayor," he says, voice calm but unyielding, "Reynolds isn't one bad cop. He's proof of a broken system. We need reform, training, oversight, consequences." The mayor, wary under X's spotlight, nods. "We're investigating, Colonel, but change takes time." Samuel leans forward, eyes fierce. "My son didn't have time when that cop hit him. Detroit's kids don't have time." The mayor shifts, promising a task force. But Samuel knows promises ain't enough. He'll keep pushing. Isaiah, watching his dad on the news, feels a new fire. He's in the living room, Angela beside him, as Aisha's report airs. Officer Reynolds' history of violence, hidden for years, was exposed by Colonel Samuel Carter, Aisha says, her voice sharp. Clips show the block's protests, Miss Rose's video, Isaiah's stand. This is bigger than one slap. It's a call for justice. Isaiah's chest swells, but his voice is soft. "Mama, Dad's fighting for everybody." Angela nods, her teacher's wisdom shining. "He's showing you, Zay. You gotta carry it too." Isaiah's eyes flicker, a boy becoming a man. "I will," he says, a vow. Let's hold this, because this fight ain't just Samuel's, it's a legacy. The Sentencing Project says reform needs voices like his, exposing patterns, demanding change. Think of the NAACP's push after Freddie Gray, or the laws passed after Sandra Bland. The mistake we make is thinking one man's evidence can't move mountains. It can, when it's backed by a community's roar. The error is believing reform happens in boardrooms. It starts in streets, in homes, in hearts like Isaiah's, now beaten with purpose. Outside, the block's still moving.
Malik Jones, the activist, plans a town hall, inviting Samuel to speak. "Colonel," Malik says, voice earnest, "you giving us hope. Tell our kids they can fight too." Samuel agrees, knowing his words can shape the next generation. At the barbershop, Mr. Lee tells customers, "Zay's daddy's a hero, but this ain't done. We gotta vote, march, keep it real." On X, Aisha's report goes viral. Hashtag Justice for Isaiah, joined by hashtag Reform Now. Users sharing stories of profiling, their pain, a chorus. A news anchor notes, Detroit's West Side is rewriting the rules, led by a father's fight. Isaiah steps into his room, pulling out a notebook. He writes, words spilling, anger at Reynolds, pride in his dad, hope for change. "I ain't just a kid no more," he writes, his pen steady. He thinks of Angela's mama marching in '67, of Samuel's missions, of the block signs. "I gotta do something," he says aloud, a spark igniting. He joins Malik's youth group, ready to speak, to lead. At dinner, he tells Samuel, "I want to help, Dad, like you." Samuel's eyes shine, his voice warm. "You already are, Zay. This fight's ours." This is the moment where a father's battle lights a son's path. The Pew Research Center says grassroots action, like Samuel's, can shift policy, like in Oakland's police reforms. The era is thinking one story fades. It don't when it's carried forward. Isaiah's notebook, Samuel's evidence, the block's hope. They're building something. As Aisha's report airs again, the mayor's phone rings, the city feeling the heat. When a father's fight meets a son's awakening, what's next? Hold tight, because Detroit's writing a new chapter. The Detroit twilight paints the west side in hues of hope, its streets alive with a rhythm that feels like a revolution taking root. It's 2024, and Isaiah Carter, 16, stands taller now, his spirit mended by his family's love and the block's unwavering embrace. Colonel Samuel Carter's fight, exposing Officer Michael Reynolds' history of abuse, has lit a fuse. With Aisha Brooks's viral report and hashtag Justice for Isaiah shaking the city's core. The block's town hall looms, a chance for voices to rise, and the community's unity is a force no system can ignore. This ain't just a moment, it's a movement, spreading beyond the west side, calling a city to stand. Stay with me, because when a community locks arms, their song echoes far beyond the streets. The west side is Black Detroit's soul, barbershops buzzing with debate, churches humming with prayer, kids dribbling balls on cracked courts, their dreams defiant. Tonight, it's a beacon. The Pew Research Center says social movements, amplified by platforms like X, can turn local cries into global calls, like Black Lives Matter after Ferguson. This block's fight, sparked by Isaiah's stand, Samuel's evidence, and Miss Rose's video, ain't just for one boy. It's for every soul who's felt the weight of a cop's glare, every parent praying their child comes home. The community's gathering, ready to turn pain into power. At the town hall, held in the community center's worn gym, the air's electric. Malik Jones, the activist, stands at a podium, his voice a clarion call. "We're here for Isaiah, for our kids, for a Detroit where they can breathe free," he declares. The crowd, 100 strong, roaring back, signs waving, "Protect our youth, end bias now." Elders nod, kids cheer, and neighbors like Mr. Lee, the store owner, pass out water, his eyes fierce. "This for my grandkids," he says, voice thick. Isaiah, seated with Angela and Samuel, feels their energy, his heart pounding. "They all here," he whispers to his mama. Angela squeezes his hand, her teacher's pride shining. "They family, Zay." Malik calls Samuel up, and the room hushes. "Colonel Carter showed us what truth can do," Malik says, gesturing to the man in a simple jacket, his Delta Force gravitas undeniable. Samuel speaks, voice steady but warm. "My son stood up to a lie, and y'all stood with him. This fight ain't just ours, it's Detroit's. We need schools that lift our kids, cops that protect, a city that sees their worth." The crowd erupts, clapping, shouting, "Preach, Colonel!" Isaiah watches, his notebook tight in his hand, words he's written burning. "I can do this too." Then Malik does something bold. "Isaiah," he calls, "come say something." The room turns, eyes on the boy who started it all. Isaiah freezes, his breath catching. Angela nods, her voice soft. "You got this, baby." Samuel's hand rests on his shoulder, a soldier's calm. "Speak your truth, Zay." Isaiah rises, legs shaky, and takes the mic, the gym silent. "I was scared," he starts, voice trembling but growing. "That cop hit me, said my dad wasn't real. But y'all showed up. You made me feel strong." He pauses, eyes sweeping the crowd. "I don't want no kid to feel what I felt. We gotta keep fighting." The room explodes, chills shaking the rafters, Miss Rose hollering, "That's our Zay." Let's hold this, because this ain't just a speech, it's a spark. The Sentencing Project says youth voices like Isaiah's can drive change, like the Parkland kids or Greensboro sit-ins. The mistake we make is thinking one boy's words don't carry weight. They do when they backed by a community's love. The era is assuming movements start big. They don't. They start with moments like Isaiah's, raw and real, igniting hearts. This town hall, live streamed on X, reaches thousands. Hashtag Justice for Isaiah, now joined by Detroit Rises. Stories pouring in. A girl stopped for her braids. A boy searched for his backpack. They pain a chorus. Outside, the movement grows. Malik's youth group, now with Isaiah, launches a campaign, Safe Streets, Safe Kids. They design flyers, plan workshops, teach kids how to know their rights. Ashisha's news segment airs again, framing Isaiah as a symbol. A Detroit teen's courage is inspiring a city to demand reform. Churches host prayer vigils, barbershops debate policy, and Mr. Lee's store becomes a hub, flyers stacked by the register. On X, a teacher shares, "My student was profiled last week. Isaiah's story gives us hope." The mayor's office, feeling the heat, announces a public forum, but the block knows change won't come until they push. Isaiah's at the center, his notebook now a blueprint. He writes speeches, ideas, dreams of a Detroit where kids like him aren't targets. At a youth meeting, he tells a girl, "Your voice matters too." She nods, her own story spilling out. Angela watches, her pride fierce. "You're leading now, Zay," she says. Samuel, quieter, sees his son's fire, his Delta Force heart swelling. "You're building something, son," he says, voice warm. Isaiah nods, his fear gone. "For all of us, Dad." This is the moment where a boy's spark becomes a city's flame. The Brennan Center says collective action like this reshapes systems like Oakland's police reforms. The era is thinking one rally fades. It don't when it's rooted in love. Isaiah's voice, the block's unity, Malik's vision, they're rewriting Detroit's story. As the town hall ends, the crowd spills out, chanting, "We are Zay." The city's listening, the system's trembling. When a community's song meets a boy's truth, what's next? Hold tight, because Detroit's movement is unstoppable. The Detroit evening settles like a heavy sigh. Its west side streets bathed in a soft dusk that carries both victory and ache. It's 2025, and Isaiah Carter, 16, stands at a crossroads, his spirit forged anew by the block's love and his father, Colonel Samuel Carter's relentless fight. The movement sparked by Officer Michael Reynolds' slap has grown, fueled by Aisha Brooks's reports, Malik Jones's rallies, and hashtag Justice for Isaiah's roar on X. The city's eyes are on the precinct where a decision on Reynolds looms, a test of whether Detroit's voice can bend the system. But justice, like the twilight, is neither light nor dark. It's something in between. Stay with me, because when a community's hope meets a half-won fight, the story doesn't end, it evolves. The West Side is Black Detroit's backbone. Corner stores alive with chatter, churches lifting voices, courts where kids like Isaiah chase dreams against all odds. Tonight, it's a vigil waiting for truth. The NAACP says only 1% of police misconduct cases lead to convictions, a statistic that haunts this block. Think of Eric Garner, his killers untouched, or Breonna Taylor, her justice stalled. Reynolds' suspension was a spark, but the community craves more, a verdict that says Black lives matter. They gather at the community center, signs in hand, accountability now, Zay's our voice, their unity a shield against disappointment. The news breaks at dusk, a press conference streamed live. The police chief, voice clipped, announces Officer Michael Reynolds has been terminated for misconduct. The block cheers, fists raised, Miss Rose shouting, "We did that, y'all." But the chief continues, no criminal charges will be filed, pending further review. The crowd stills, cheers fade into murmurs. Isaiah, watching with Angela and Samuel, feels a knot in his chest. "Fired but free?" he asks, voice low. Angela's hand tightens on his, her teacher's calm, steady. "It's something, Zay, but it ain't enough." Samuel's eyes, a soldier's fire, burn quiet. "They're scared of us now, son. That's a start." Malik Jones takes the mic outside, his voice raw but resolute. "Reynolds is gone, but no charges? That ain't justice. It's a compromise." The crowd nods, their signs sagging but not falling. "We wanted him in cuffs like he tried to do Zay," a woman calls. Jamal, Isaiah's friend, adds, "What's firing him do if he's still walking?" The block's anger is a tide, but Malik lifts his hand. "This ain't the end," he says. "We got their attention. Now we push harder for laws, for change, for our kids." The crowd chants, "Zay's fight, our fight." Their voices are promised to keep going.
Let's hold this, because this half-justice ain't defeat, it's fuel. The Brennan Center says partial wins, like firings without charges, often spark deeper reforms, like in Minneapolis post-George Floyd.
The mistake we make is thinking justice is a finish line. It ain't. It's a road paved by protests, voices, votes. Think of Rodney King's case. Cops acquitted, but the riots birthed new laws. The error is believing a single verdict heals all wounds. It don't. It takes time and kids like Isaiah stepping into their power to keep the fire alive. Isaiah feels the weight, his notebook now a map of dreams and demands. He joins Malik's youth group, speaking at a meeting, his voice stronger. I thought firing him would fix it, he says, eyes sweeping the room. But it's bigger than one cop. We gotta change the rules. A girl, Tasha, shares her story, stopped for her braids, called a threat. You give me courage, Zay, she says. Isaiah nods, his heart full. We do it together, he tells her, a leader emerging. At home, he asks Samuel, how do we keep going? Samuel's voice is warm, steady. By showing up, Zay, like your grandma did in '67, like we do now. Angela takes action, hosting a community forum at her school, inviting parents, kids, even cops. We talk, we plan, we build, she says, her voice a call. She shares data. Black youth face triple the arrests per the Sentencing Project and demands training, oversight, youth programs. The block shows up, Mr. Lee passing out flyers, Miss Rose live streaming. On X, hashtag Detroit Rises trends, users posting, Zay's block is showing us the way. A news anchor notes, Detroit's West Side, led by a teen and his family, is redefining justice. The mayor, under pressure, pledges a civilian review board, but the block knows words ain't deeds. Isaiah's at the court, ball in hand, his three-pointer sharp again. He pauses, seeing Tasha and other kids watching. Y'all want to learn? He calls, grinning. They join, they laughter a new song. Isaiah feels it, his pain's still there, but it's fuel now, driving him to lead. Angela watches, her pride fierce. You're changing things, Zay, she says. Samuel nods, his Delta Force heart full. You're our future, son. Isaiah bounces the ball, eyes bright. For all of us, he says, a vow. This is the moment where a half-won fight births a new vision. The Pew Research Center says community forums like Angela's can shape policy, like in Oakland's reforms. The era is thinking of verdicts the end. It's a door cracked open by a block's wheel. Isaiah's leadership, Angela's forum, Samuel's fight, they writing a new Detroit. As the crowd disperses, they chant lingers, we are Zay. The city's watching, the system's bending. When a boy's truth meets a people's resolve, what's next? Hold tight, because Detroit's just beginning. The Detroit sunrise spills gold across the west side, its streets glowing with a promise that feels like a new beginning. It's 2025, and Isaiah Carter, now 16 and a half, stands on the cusp of something bigger than himself. The fight sparked by Officer Michael Reynolds' slap has reshaped the city. Reynolds fired, a civilian review board promised, and hashtag Justice for Isaiah a rallying cry on X. But Isaiah knows, as do his father, Colonel Samuel Carter, his mother Angela, and the block, that half justice isn't enough. This is about legacy, about a boy's courage becoming a city's blueprint for change. Stay with me, because when a teen's truth ignites a movement, it calls us all to act. The West Side is Black Detroit's spirit. Barbershops alive with dreams, churches lifting prayers, courts where kids like Isaiah shoot for the stars. Today, it's a lighthouse guiding the city toward fairness. The Pew Research Center says youth-led movements like this one can shift culture, like the March for Our Lives or the Greensboro sit-ins. Isaiah's journey from a slapped boy to a leader ain't just his. It's for every kid who's felt a cop's shadow, every parent whispering prayers at night. The block's town halls, Angela's forums, and Malik's campaigns have woven a tapestry of hope, and Isaiah's voice is its brightest thread. Isaiah stands at a youth rally, a mic in hand, the community center packed with kids, parents, and allies. His notebook, once a private refuge, now fuels his words. "We got Reynolds fired," he says, voice clear, eyes sweeping the crowd. "But that ain't the end. We need schools that see us, streets that hold us, a city that loves us." The room erupts, kids cheering, Tasha, the girl he inspired, clapping loudest. "I was scared," Isaiah continues, softer now, "but y'all taught me we're stronger together. Let's keep fighting, for us, for the next Zay." The crowd roars, signs waving, youth lead, Detroit rises, their energy a fire that won't fade. Angela watches from the back, her teacher's heart swelling. "That's my boy," she whispers, tears shining. Samuel beside her nods, his Delta Force calm giving way to pride. "He's ours, Angie," he says, voice warm. Malik Jones, the activist, joins Isaiah on stage, his arm around the teen. "This young man's showing us the way," Malik says, voice booming. "He's proof our kids can lead." The rally's live-streamed, X buzzing with hashtag Detroit Rises, users posting "Zay's voice is power. This is our future." A news anchor reports Detroit's youth, led by Isaiah Carter, are demanding a new city. Let's hold this, because this ain't just a rally, it's a birthright. The Sentencing Project says young leaders like Isaiah can redefine justice, like the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee in the 60s. The mistake we make is thinking change needs big names. It don't. It needs hearts like Isaiah's, bold and true, backed by a block that won't quit. The error is believing one fight's enough. It ain't. It takes a lifetime, and Isaiah's ready, his notebook now a manifesto for safe schools, fair policing, and a Detroit where kids thrive.
The block keeps moving. Tasha starts a peer group, teaching girls to speak out. Mr. Lee, the store owner, funds a mural of Isaiah on his shop, a basketball in hand, words beneath, "Zay's truth, I fight." Churches host voter drives, elders like Miss Rose registering teens, her voice fierce, "Vote for Zay's future." Angela's forums grow, parents drafting proposals for youth centers, mental health support. Needs the American Psychological Association says Black kids crave after trauma. On X, a teacher shares, "My students are writing letters to the mayor, inspired by Zay." The mayor, under pressure, meets with Malik, promising funds, but the block knows promises need watching. Isaiah's at the court, coaching younger kids, his three-pointers a lesson in focus. "Keep your eyes up," he tells a boy, Jalen, who's shy but eager. "You're bigger than any doubt." Jalen smiles, his shot swishing. Isaiah feels it. His pain's a bridge now, connecting him to others. At home, he tells Angela, "I want to study law, Mama. Make sure no kids hurt like me." Angela hugs him, her pride fierce. "You're already changing laws, Zay." Samuel, listening, says, "You're my mission now, son." Isaiah grins, his heart full. "We got work, Dad."
This is the legacy. Where a boy's stand becomes a city's call. The Brennan Center says sustained action like this reshapes systems like Baltimore's consent decree. The era is thinking one teen's voice fades. It don't when it's echoed by a people. Isaiah's rally, Tasha's group, Angela's forums, their seeds growing a new Detroit. But this ain't just their fight, it's ours. Join us, share your story with And Bias, call your counsel, mentor a kid, vote. Every step counts. As Isaiah shoots one last three-pointer, the net sings, the block cheers, and the sun rises higher. When a boy's truth meets our will, what's next? Hold tight, because Detroit's future is now.
The Detroit sunrise lingers, a golden promise etched across the west side, where Isaiah Carter's courage has woven a legacy that won't fade. It's 2025, and this 16-year-old stand, sparked by a cop's slap, fueled by his father Colonel Samuel Carter's fight, and carried by a block's unyielding love, has reshaped a city. From Miss Rose's viral video to Malik's rallies, from Angela's forums to hashtag Justice for Isaiah's roar on X, this movement's a beacon, showing what's possible when we rise together. But Isaiah's story ain't just Detroit's, it's yours, ours, a call to every heart that's ever felt the sting of doubt or the fire of hope. This is the moment to act, to build a world where no kid fears a badge, where every dream gets to soar. You've walked with Isaiah, felt his pain, his pride, his power. Now carry it forward. Share your story with hashtag #InBias. Post it, tweet it, let it echo. Call your counsel, mentor a young soul, vote for change. Every voice, every step builds on what Isaiah started. And if you're moved by this journey, join our family. Hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, stay with us as we tell more stories that shake the soul and shift the world. Your support keeps this fire burning, keeps these truths alive. But hear this, because Isaiah's fight ain't over, and neither is ours. The system's still standing, still waiting to test us. So ask yourself, what's your truth, and who's gonna hear it? Keep listening, keep fighting, because the next spark could be you. And one day, when we least expect it, a single voice will break the whole damn machine.